Alright, so what I've done so far, this is a follow-on to the video I just barely finished about how to create a single composite sale table that includes all the records from all these tables in a single table in IDEA. And I've brought in all these records into a single composite table, and the place where I had to slow down a little bit is I have the table state, which is a lookup table, linked to customer, account, and employee. So what I had to do is with the composite table, I had to join that composite table to the state, but I said the linking field was account state. And that allowed me to bring in the name of the state for the account. And then I did the same thing with that bigger composite table, but this time I chose customer state as the linking field, the matching key, to bring in the name of the state for the customer. And so now I'm in the final step to now let IDEA know what the name of the state is for the employee. Okay? So I am now looking at my 14th join. I just finished the 14th join that includes the customer state, but now I want to indicate what state the employee was in. So let's go over and find that. Employee state ID. Let's back over here a little bit further. Okay, so here's employee state ID, and I don't know, naturally, people who know the abbreviations for states, they would know that's Idaho, but someone who might not, or if in your reports you want the word Idaho to appear, you need to bring on Idaho. So what we're going to do is we're going to now join. This is going to be my 15th join. I'm going to call this 15, and I'm going to say include employee state. And the table I'm going to join with is the state table where that name resides. The way this big composite table links to the state table is through the state ID. So I'm going to choose the match on the primary table. Now here's where I have to be careful because I want to find the employee state name. So I'm going down here, and you see here's employee. Let's go up a little bit further. There's employee state. So I'm linking the employee state ID in this big composite table. It's already been joined 14 times, to the state ID. And that will now allow me to bring on the field, which is state name. And that's where I'm at right now. And I want to bring in all records in both files. And I think I'm good. And now I have a single table that's a join of every single one of these tables. And you'll notice there are some blank rows in IDEA. There are some blank rows because if you go over here, we'll find what caused that. We have some states where maybe we didn't have an employee. Now, just to kind of clean this data up a little bit, what you might want to do is drag this state ID. Right? You see this over here? Let's go a little bit. Okay. You see this state ID and state name. In fact, it's this one here. This state ID and this state name. Let's go and find it. You see, all of a sudden we see Idaho. I'm going to drag these. These are the ones that were just barely brought on, and I'm going to drag them over and put them right next to the employee state. Right there. And now I'm going to go down and make sure that it matches, because I don't want the state ID here to be the state ID for the account number or the customer. So you see this is ID, employee state ID matches the state table ID, and those match. And if I were to go all the way to the bottom, you're seeing these all matching all the way down to the bottom. So it looks like all of our employees are living in Idaho, and then you get to Illinois and there's no employees. So what would probably be good is while I'm here, I'm going to go ahead and change this name. Go to the column settings. I just right click, change the name. And sorry, just 1 second. I need to change the name here. Oops. Undo that. Just put that back to normal. One more thing. Okay. I want to change the name, so I'm going to right click in here. Yeah, sorry, this one's a little disjointed, sorry. But anyway, I'm going to do field manipulation here, I'm going to go in and I'm going to change the name so that when I bring this into Tableau, I know what state it's for. So the first one I brought on, as you can see down below here, was account. Okay, so the first time I brought on this state ID is the account state ID. And this one is the account state name. The second one I brought on was a customer. So I'm going to call this the customer state ID and the customer state name. The last one I brought on was the employee state ID and the employee state name. And I'm going to hit OK. Now the benefit of that is, like I said, when I bring this into Tableau and I'm looking at the different dimensions, I have it labeled properly so I recognize what dimension I'm looking at. Am I looking at the account state ID and account state name, or am I looking at the customer name? And that'll make it a heck of a lot easier when I get into Tableau, so I know what I'm actually looking at. That's why you'll notice in databases they often, like this is the customer ID, they don't just give that attribute the name customer ID because they want to know this is the customer ID in a sale, as opposed to the customer ID in a payment or a customer ID in a I don't know, an order or something like that. Okay, so now that I've created this new huge composite table, and you'll notice I have 699 records, which is more than the number of sale inventory records. The sale inventory records is only 541. The reason in this last table we have 699 is because we have a number of like states, for example, for which there was no sale inventory line. Hopefully you understand that from having attended the class. If this is just out in the world, maybe you don't understand what I'm talking about here. But anyway, this table can now be exported and imported into imported into Tableau for analysis purposes. So that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to export this as an Excel file. Okay, so I'm going to go to Home and I'm going to choose Excel and I'm going to export it as an Excel file 2007 to 2010. I'm going to put it in a specific place where I can find it. Okay, I'll do that. Okay, so here's where I want to save it, and I'm going to call this the CBI, which stands for Cherry Inc. All Sales Event Records. Okay, and now I've saved that, and now it is a file that can be brought in to Tableau for analysis purposes. Okay, we're done.